Hello everybody, welcome to another episode. So this is episode 8, and I'm gonna take you guys through a real-life example game. This was one of my own games, played at Fox 9 Dime. It's a relatively quick, relaxed game, so it's gonna feature a lot of these more of the ups and downs of the middle game. Okay, let's go look. This is going to show us some examples of what we talked about previously. Okay, as usual, the reviews start right in the middle game after a while. Opening is just going through the motions, and the middle game is where you start to win your game. Okay. This was a very good spot. It really limits White's bottom. That's why I was white there, guys. So you know who the villain is. Just a hint, I am always sort of the dark side of Go, if you will, on the Star Wars analogy. The light side might tell you to, be good, play good moves, don't play too aggressively, don't do this, don't do that. I'm the dark side, so I will tell you to do whatever you want, just whatever you can to win the game. Now, of course, this is all on the Go board. This is not off of the Go board. Be respectful to your opponents. That is always important. I don't mean that. I mean, on the Go board, you can use all the tricks, all the strategies, or the mind games that you want. Okay? This is, so right now Black has made another move, reduces White's bottom. You can take this stone out. It's also expanding the right side. It's very, looks like a very good flow, for Black. If White keeps responding, it's gonna be very small. If White plays here and Black plays here, for example, you can really notice the difference of the size of the two moves by visually. Look how small this is, look how big this is. Okay, so right now White is trying to, Tanukis right here, he's trying to attack this Black group, make some territory and perhaps forever not play on the bottom side where it's not very big. Okay. So Black answers by counter-attacking. So you guys will see this very often in your online Go games. In online games, it's not so serious, and so your opponents and you yourself are more likely to choose the variations that are, the toughest, the hardest, the most fighty variations. So you'll see this. Instead of just defending and living, Black is threatening White, and White is doing the same. Now, remember, before Black spent moves on the bottom side, so resources devoted to the bottom, White spent moves to expand his left side. And so here, there's a big difference in the amount of resources spent in this fighting right here. So when White played here, and if you were Black and you went back to, say, live here, for example, you would not be getting your money swords. And so this move is another move that sort of connects this middle group, but it's really expanding White's left side. So right now, White is feeling okay. Okay, so you spent so much resources here and you didn't get anything. So what happens? Black tries to get stuff, and look what Black gets. This was a typical trademark mistake. when black extends down, you know, this happens, and then black captures the white group. By the way, guys, in case you guys want to not fall for this sort of game-ending damage, game-ending traps, you guys can do some life and death problem study, but remember, pay attention closely to what I say here. Do life and death Sumeiko problem study. I didn't say to do them outright, right? Because we all know they can be some of the boringest things in Go. Some people might enjoy, but most people find life and death problems tedious, hard, and boring. So don't try to do these. My recommendation, you can just go look at the solutions and go look at it several times repeated, so that when this sort of shape happens in the game, you're like, okay, I recognize this, no problem. And if you see a new problem, you can also say, I can do these problems. Look, I solved it in 2 seconds, So just go straight to the solution. Don't bother with solving them if, you're not that type of person. This is a recommendation. Of course, doing one problem is better than looking at the answers to one problem, but you can look at 10 different problems, right? With the time you can do one. Okay, and so incidentally, in this game, we realized too late. So we cut here, we realized immediately, we're in big trouble. But then, we should, be better at this, and then, look at the other way. But either way, white is getting punished pretty badly on the bottom side. Okay, so what does black get out of this invasion? Black destroys white's bottom and captures white's group as a result. So very, very big game-ending damage happened nonetheless. You can, if you resign here as white, your teachers will not blame you. Some of your teachers might even say white should resign, but of course this is online game, and if you have any chance of winning, you don't have to resign, right? Not in the books. So don't give up and look for more opportunities later. Okay? First, let's remember this is a classic life and death shape. It's called the chicken stands on one leg. The golden chicken stands on one leg. Feel free to correct me. And it's referring to this shape where black's two stones is standing on one leg, and you can't go either side to capture him, giving him the chance to capture you. So that's one thing. Golden chicken stands on one leg. The other thing, how about not chicken? How about the golden dinosaur stands on one leg? Okay, the other thing you can say is another saying. It's called 其从断处生. So I guess go comes from cuts. So feel free to cut a lot is the recommendation. Anyway, so right now white has suffered huge losses. What white's plan is for coming back is doing this. If white can connect here in Sente for Atari and then trying to make a Seki here, white can be relatively strong here, and then if white can save the two stones, sort of attack the four black stones, then white will be relatively happy. Okay? Now, that's a path to coming back. If white can get an attack going, the right side territory is automatically destroyed, and the left side white territory is automatically made. if that happens, white can come back in the game. So when you're behind like this, one, it's very nice to have imagination. Two, you want to identify the easiest way of making a comebacks. Okay. So here, black fixes the issue we talked about before, where white's connection was centered. Very, very good move. So this gets rid of white's plan of coming back. So if black wanted to attack white by Hane, and white got this center, after a while, white is going to live, and then black is going to have many, many weaknesses on the outside. If white lives, right? So this is a very good, level safe play by black. Okay, so now white's plan of attacking black has gone sour, or is prevented from happening. White decides to live on the right side, destroying all of this black potential in the process. Seems like a good plan, and many things have happened. And white is trying to use all the liberty shortage situations all over the surrounding in order to make himself alive. This is also highly recommended. Go, it's much, much easier to do something, if you have some of your opponent's weaknesses pinned, so that he has to defend something, and then that gives you time to do your own thing, right? Okay. And as you can see, white has some sort of a good shape going, and all of a sudden, even though white can't live on the inside, white can play here and surround black on the outside, and have a big liberty fight situation happen, right? And so here was a big mistake by white. White should start attacking the black. Notice how black's 2 move is not a connection. It is just a tanuki, because if we're playing, we're going to connect by default, and then the black's outside will be counter captured by white's inside, and so the game would turn on its head probably. If you're living and black has weaknesses on the outside, usually your opponent, fixes his weaknesses, but then he has no chance of attacking you, because your opponent is in offensive mode, attack mode. He can very easily do that. So if your group is not alive, this can happen a lot. You can look for a counter capture or counter kill, and then you really, really come back in the game and win. Okay, that was another mistake by white. White was thinking, I was thinking, since black was fixated on, capturing us, we'll most likely play another move down here, and then we'll play on the outside, right? This line of thinking does work to some extent, but, for the 9 dans who are very strong, they'll realize their mistake. Sometimes it's better not to give them the chance to fix them. Anyway, so right now, we realize that we have made a horrible mistake too, right? Now black is fixing his middle, and so this leads white to play some, this led white to make another mistake. White played here and allowed black to capture even more white stones on the outside. So the result was, and white's inside was cold. So that was the worst part. Anyway, so at this point, the situation is pretty hopeless for white. Even though white captured black's 2 stones here and lived inside black's territory, white has lost more stones on the outside, so the losses sort of offsets the gains, and the estimator now has the estimator was wrong. Now the estimator has black up by 5.5. Now this does assume white gets all of the left side up to the 5th line, which is unlikely. And despite that, black is still winning. So white is clearly losing, but as you can see, it's not by all that much, right? So if white gets 10-15 points in the last fight of the game, which is going to happen on the left side, maybe there's still a chance. And don't resign unless you do have to resign. Yes, I know what I said was not, it's hard to follow, but so basically don't resign if you think you have any chance of winning. Your teachers might tell you to resign, but that is only because your teachers know that it's hopeless and you don't. So it's part of a self-improvement process for you, because you didn't realize that it's hopeless, and your teacher tells you it's hopeless. It helps your game judgment, position judgment, and so on. So when your teacher tells you it's time to resign, please do note it as a not a courtesy sort of a thing, but a suggestion on path to improvement for yourself. So you were not being like rude or anything. Don't think that. It's just that you didn't realize how bad your situation actually was. Okay. And so once you do realize, you can take a little bit more liberties with your resign time. Okay. Okay. So so right now black is going through the motions, taking care of the game, wrapping it up, whatever. As you can see from the score estimate, black has made more territory, white has made less, plus the original difference. White is really hopeless now, especially at the 9-dan level, right? Especially at the 9-dan level, right? So here white has deliberately made a 2 tenukis, allowed black to sort of capture this. Okay, let's just see what happens. Okay, here black had 2 choices. He could Atari here, and now black has 2 choices. He can connect, or he can capture this. Capturing this means that he only got a small amount of gains on the left side, while white made 2 very valuable moves, especially since now the rest of these moves are all Sente. White saved the 4 stones. If this happened, black is still winning. It's winning by over 10 points, probably around 15 points. But suffering losses, he didn't really want that. And black also thought white's recourse was to connect underneath this way, sort of assuming that white was in defense mode. But in the game, white prepared this. Okay, white allowed himself to be cut off, and instead cut off black's group. No, it's getting a little complicated. Okay, and this is where white is gonna find his chance, if there is any. Now this was really making something happen from nothing, right? As you can see, there's 4 liberties on the white's inside. Now if black cuts, white will push out, right? So 4 liberties, and here is black's dilemma here. Now, black can capture these, but if this is gonna be a ko, and white has a huge dead group, maybe black won't win the ko, and white can just win the liberty race outright. And so, but then black also can capture the bottom here. So, after weighing his options, black decided to play the strongest move possible. So this is another thing that you will see very often when you're confused and you don't really know which side is bigger. People often play the stronger move of the two choices. Strong players play the strong move or the aggressive move. Weaker players play the timid move or the defensive move. Usually this happens. So it's as a recommendation of being playing stronger, aggressive, or passive. It's usually recommended for me that you play aggressively. A slightly over-aggressive is where you really want to be. Is my take on this. And the reasoning is, you give your opponent the opportunity to make lots of mistakes as well. So, and plus you're striving for more, right? The person who tries harder usually can win. Speaking from personal experience, I win most of my games from trying hard. Not trying hard in terms of thinking about the game, reading things out, but from trying hard in terms of demanding more from situations. Okay, so in the game, black has decided to play the strong move. He fixes the right side, taking everything, and now black has to connect to the top now, and he cannot. And here is where white has made his mistakes, another mistake. Now, the mistakes are usually not going to be the mistakes we talk about here are not mistakes where you misread or like simple misreads. It's usually part of psychological, So you can see white played here, capturing the black group, and really thinking that he has won the game. But if white was really serious, he would play something like this. Oh, look at this. That's the AI recommendations where it's more complicated, right? You can see here, 7 was made to capture the black middle, and when black saves the left side, white lives on the bottom side. Does white live? We're not sure, but anyway, white is supposed to make a more aggressive move now, because the game is still relatively close after this. Of course, white didn't realize any of this. White thought the game was over. So, of course, naturally, white played defensively. White now see white should play this move, capture 3 more stones. However, the result was, even though white did capture these, black still maintained his original territory, and remember, originally black was ahead by like 5 points, right? So despite a very big, counterattack and some very dramatic comebacks, white on the cusp of victory played just a little bit too safe, right? Here, for example, white can connect. If black plays this is going to be Sente, save the middle white group and then capture these blacks, giving up a few points for a lot of points. Anyway, when white was supposed to be thinking about winning the game, white thought about the game was won, let's just be safe. And that was the worst. Anyway, so later on, the end game happened, and the result was So the result was black was ahead by 7 points on the board, and 7 points on Fox server is black winning by half a point. Now, if you counted the Chinese rules, white would have won by half. But because this is Fox Japanese rules, 6.5 komi, black won by a half a point. So white's biggest mistake. White made many mistakes this game, but the biggest mistake was when white made a big, gigantic comeback. He played a little bit too passively. Everything before, mistakes were mistakes of the technical kind. Some strategic kind, but white was following his plans of coming back. And earlier on, it was also a technical mistake. We don't really mind those too much. You can make lots of technical mistakes and still win the game as white here. That's a Fox 9-dan level, right? So the strategic mistake with the mindset was really what bothers us this game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary, and just remember, don't give up so easily. Keep yourself in the game and find your chances. And the lower your skill level and the faster the time settings produces more and more dramatic reversals or big scores. And big scores and dramatic reversals are the most fun part of the game. Okay, thank you. Come back next time. Yeah, look forward to speaking. Please leave a comment on what you guys like to see us analyze, or if you guys would like to see some, live gameplay, anything. Okay, have a good day. Happy Chinese New Year. Have fun on the Go board, guys. Take care.